everybody. I am Shanah with Bindi Yoga, bringing you some yoga for your home practice. With me today is the lovely Erin. She's going to be moving through the practice with us. She will be kind of demoing. It kind of depends on how you like to practice when you are using a video. So you can watch me if you want to see a mirror image of what you're doing, or you can look to Erin if you want to see the side view. You'll notice that there is no music going right now. I'm excited to bring you a quiet practice. I'm hoping you will take this opportunity to turn on something that makes you really happy. This is your opportunity to play your Rage Against the Machine, or your name a country person. Blake Shelton. Right? So whatever makes your heart happy, I hope you turn that way up and you just enjoy a little bit of time to yourself. Hog tie your kids in their rooms, and we're just going to have about a 35-40 minute practice here. So we're going to start in extended child's pose. So Erin's going to demo child's pose. Bring your knees to the edges of the mat. Extend your arms long on the mat, and then press your hips down towards your heels. If you have any issues in your neck, you can be in more of an embryo with your arms down by your sides. And we're just going to get into our breath here together. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, go ahead and press all of the air completely out of your lungs. And then through your nose, breathe in, driving the air across the back of your throat. Fill your belly, let your rib cage expand. And then open your mouth and exhale. Through your nose, breathe in. Through your mouth, breathe out. And now seal your lips, breathe in through your nose, driving the air across the back of your throat. Finding that ujjayi breath, it's a little constriction in the back of your throat. And then through your nose, exhale audibly. I'm going to encourage you to continue breathing here on your own, joining Erin for a few more nice deep rounds of ujjayi breath. And then as you're breathing, find an intention or a dedication for your practice, something that you maybe need to send some love and light and energy to today. We're going to do some grounding work today, so maybe just really feel the mat underneath you, feel supported by your yoga mat, your yoga practice, by your yoga community that are joining you at home on their mats. And then begin to gently walk your hands over to the right side of the mat. If you like, you can interlace your left hand on top of the right and give that left arm a gentle pull. Keep pressing your sit bones down into your heels. Keep that breath nice and long. And then we're going to come through center, take it over to the other side, maybe interlacing your right hand on top of the left. Gently pull as you press your hips back to your heels. Then we're going to come back to center and press up into a tabletop position. So an active tabletop, spread your fingers wide, stack your shoulders right over your wrists, hips over your knees. We're going to inhale, drop your belly, spread your collarbone and tilt your chin up. Feel that stretching through your throat. And then as you exhale, push the mat away, hollow out your core and tuck your chin. Inhale to cow pose. And then exhale to cat. And I encourage you here to close your eyes and find a few more rounds of cat-cow on your own. If you like coming in and out of your child's pose, you can. If you want to draw some circles with your hips or shoulders, you're more than welcome to. Let it be organic and get really weird. You're home by yourself. And then coming back through your neutral tabletop position, walk your hands out in front of your shoulders, spread your fingers really wide, gripping the mat with your knuckles, lift your hips, downward facing dog, and then take your down dog for a walk. Pedal out your feet. And then release any stress that you've been holding into your neck, let your head hang heavy. Lift your belly button up. Wrap your shoulder heads around the front of your body and find another deep breath here. Inhale, bend your knees, look beyond your mat. We're going to take a great big step to the top of the mat and then separate your feet hip-width distance apart. Grab opposite elbows and hang in your ragdoll uttanasana, nice Gentle forward fold here. Keep the weight in your toes. If you like any movement here, you are more than welcome to move around. If you want to interlace your hands behind your back and find a shoulder rinse, go for it. You can grab onto your big toes. If you like, you can tuck your hands underneath your feet. Whatever forward fold is calling to you right here. And then liberate your hands from any binds you might have. You can practice this entire time with your feet hip-width distance apart. That is a great option for those of you with knee issues or low back issues, or if you just prefer it. You can also bring those big toes back together if you like. And then we're going to inhale into a halfway lift. So your hands are either pushing into your shins or your fingertips are in line with your toes. Flare your sit bones up. Wrap your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen through your spine. Take another breath. And then exhale into a deep forward fold. We're going to soften your knees, root down, rise up, mountain pose, Tadasana. Circle sweep your arms overhead and wrap your triceps towards the front of the room. Tuck your hips underneath you. Something you're used to hearing a lot of in my classes. Mula Bandha is that low belly engagement, drawing those hip points in towards each other. Uddiyana Bandha is tucking that belly button up and in, and then wrap your shoulders down away from your ears. Find some fire through your fingertips. Take another breath. As you exhale, cactus your arms, lift your heart, and find a gentle back bend. So really open up through your heart, lift your chin, stretch through your throat. We're going to come back up through Tadasana. And then softly bend your knees and swan dive all the way down into a nice deep forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step your right leg back. We're going to drop your right knee down. Coming into your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So lean your hips forward, getting deep into that lunge. If you have any issues in your back knee, you can either curl your toes under, you can always double up your mat, or you can just push a little more weight into the top of your right foot to take some of that weight out of your knee. And then we're going to lunge deeply. If it feels okay, bring your arms overhead. If you want to really lean into that shoulder opening, you can bring your palms together. You might lift your chin, lift your gaze, and find a little bit of a back bend here, but really focus on that hip flexor. So keep lunging, keep a little bit of weight in that right foot. Take another breath. As you exhale, we're going to bring your hands back to the mat. Straighten out your left leg. Flex your toes back towards your face and find your half split. Drag your left thigh back into your hip. Pull that right hip forward. And then peel your heart towards your left big toe. Take another breath. As you exhale, we're going to step your left foot back. Push the sole of your left foot in. Plant your hand. Step your left foot all the way back to your high plank. Anytime you come to plank, you can drop your knees down to the mat. That's a great way to protect your low back or support your chaturanga. We're going to shift the weight forward. And then chaturanga all the way down. Squeeze your elbows into the sides. Let your shoulders and hips land at the same time. Flip the tops of your feet over. Roll your shoulder heads back and come into your low cobra Bhushangasana. And breathe. Take another breath. As you exhale, curl your toes under, tap your chin, use your knees as much as you like to support you back up to your high plank, and then lift your hips downward facing dog. Check in with that Ujjayi breath. Maybe close your eyes and bring some awareness into the mat supporting you. We focus a lot in our yoga practice with upward energy, lifting energy. Maybe today, allowing yourself to really just feel the support of your mat. Inhale, bend your knees, look beyond your mat. Exhale, step or lightly float, if you like, to the top of your mat. Find your halfway lift, neutralize your spine. And then exhale into a deep forward fold. Soften your knees, root down, rise up, mountain pose. And then exhale, lift your heart, find your back bend. Inhale, back up to mountain. And then listen, Utkatasana, chair pose. So notice as I bring my hips back down into chair, I separate my feet hip width distance apart. It's a good way to support your low back, or if you have knee issues, you can have your hands extended overhead. You can have your hands at heart center. Another option is to have your arms reaching forward and then drawing those shoulders back. And then you can see Erin here. She's got a block between her knees, and she's keeping that weight into her heels, so those knees are shifted back. Take another breath. As you exhale, we're going to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left leg back, drop your left knee down. Coming into that low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Send your hips forward and back, kind of notice your knee. Notice if you need a little more support on this side. And then you can play around with the same or different arm variation. If you want a shoulder rinse, you can interlace your hands behind you. Maybe finding your back bend. Lunge a little bit deeper, keep that breath nice and long. And then as you exhale, we're gonna plant your hands on either side of your right foot, straighten out that right leg, flex your toes back towards your heart. Pull your heart forward and breathe. Drag your right femur back into that hip socket, one more breath. Take another inhale. As you exhale, push the sole of your right foot down, plant your hands, curl your left toes under, step back to a high plank. We're gonna shift the weight forward, and we're gonna lower just halfway. Squeeze those elbows in. You can come all the way down to your mat, or press up to your upward facing dog. Roll your shoulder heads down, lift your heart. Keep your core active, drag those hips forward, try to draw the shoulders down away from the ears, take another breath. And then curl over your toes, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, and out. We're gonna do one more. Inhale, bend your knees, look beyond your mat. Exhale, travel, step, or float lightly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, nice deep forward fold. Soften your knees, root down, rise up, mountain. And then exhale, back bend. Inhale, up. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. So breathing, sinking into that chair, bring your hands together through heart center. Lengthen through your spine. Now working to keep your hips lower than your heart, we're gonna turn to the right and twist. So you may be able to see in our bodies, the body naturally wants to follow that twist. So just remind that left hip to pull back, drop those hips lower than the heart. And then just for fun, make a fist out of your left hand, push your right hand into your fist, and then really lean into the twist here. Keep breathing actively. All of these twists move the lymph through your lymphatic system. It's great for immunity. Take another breath. And then as you exhale, we're gonna come back to chair, hands at heart center, sink a little bit lower. Take another inhale. Look to the left and twist. Sinking, breathing, maybe making a fist with your right hand and actively pushing your left hand into that fist. Keep pulling your belly button up and in. Inhale, come back to center. Smile, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands high plank, holding in your high plank position. So again, anytime we're in our high plank, you are more than welcome to drop your knees down. We're gonna bring our big toes together and rock to the outside edge of your right foot, side plank. To modify, you can drop that right knee down. Beautiful, you can spin it behind you and use it as a kickstand, or you can keep it in line with your body to challenge your balance a little bit more. If you want, you can lift that left leg up. If you want, you can extend your left arm overhead. Lots of playful ways to get into your side plank. Take another breath. We're going to come back to high plank, finding your balance there. Take another inhale. And then side plank, left hand is your face. And then if you found a modification or a variation on the other side, try to balance yourself out. Keep pushing them out of the way, keep breathing. Feeling the support of your mat underneath your left hand, take another breath. As you exhale with control, coming back to your high plank, using that strong core, we're gonna shift the weight forward. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Wrapping those shoulders, drag your hips forward, lift your chin if that feels good on your neck, and then exhale to downward facing dog. And then catching your breath in your down dog, coming back to your intention, your dedication. Inhale, send your right leg high. And then bend your knees, stack your hips, scorpion. And all of our bodies are a little bit different, so if your hip flexor is particularly tight and that knee doesn't want to lift up, you can let that right shoulder lift a little. If you have pretty open hips, then I want you to focus on balancing the weight between your hands and then lift that knee. Inhale, straighten out your leg. Square out your hips. We're going to rock into plank, knee to nose. Keep that belly drawn up and in. Try to make contact. Inhale, right leg high. We're going to take that knee to the outside of the body and tap your right shoulder. You can drop your left knee down at any point. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, twist underneath your body and see if you can get to the left shoulder. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot lightly, land it at your right thumb, spin your left heel down, and come up. Warrior one. And then breathe. Lovely. Square out those hips. Notice where your left hip is in space. Try to put a little bit of energy into that left foot, and then tuck your hips underneath you. Find that mula bandha. Pin your hip points in towards one another. Draw your ribs together, and then allow your shoulders to melt down and fire through your fingertips. Taking another breath. And out. We're going to inhale, shift forward. Squeeze an imaginary object between your hands. If you have shoulder issues, you can always bring your hands to heart center here. We're going to bring the weight into your right foot. Keep your hips square. Straighten out that right leg. And we're going to come into warrior three. So push your right foot down. Again, if it's more appropriate for your shoulders, hands are at heart center. Or you can airplane your arms. And then breathe. Now moving slowly, keep your core drawn in. We're coming into our Ardha Chandrasana half moon. So reach your left arm up, right hand hovers. I'll show you guys with a block. Blocks are not just about making your asanas easier. In fact, in your Ardha Chandrasana, if you push that bottom hand into the block, really feeling the support of the mat, then you can get maybe a little more length, making it a little more active in through your arms. Nice. Hip opening in the over there. Take another breath. We're going to move in slow motion. Begin to bend that right knee and land in your warrior two. Round your shoulders down. Activate through your arms. And then we're working to get that right thigh as close to parallel as you can get it today. And then if you look at my knee, hopefully it looks like it's stacked right over the ankle. And then wake up through your fingertips. If it's okay with your neck, your gaze is beyond your right middle finger. And then notice how Erin's hips are nice and level. Sometimes that left hip gets a little sassy and creeps up, so pull that left hip down, take another breath, reach towards the front mirror, if you're Erin. And then reverse warrior without backing out of the lunge, so recommit. Find a little more space, slide that left hand down the left thigh, take another breath. And then side angle. So you can keep your arms open wide here. You can rest your forearm on your thigh. If you're working towards your flexibility, you might work to bring those first two fingers between your big toe and your second toe, but keep your legs active, so squeeze your heels in. You can also use your block here, pushing into the block. Keep your low body the same. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands all the way to the mat. Pivot onto the pad of your left foot. Remove the block if you've got it there. Step back to your high plank. Shift the weight forward, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Pull that heart forward. And then exhale to downward facing dog. If you want to add extra push-ups, you know who you are. You can always add extra push-ups. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Inhale, bend your knees, look beyond your mat. Exhale, travel step or lightly float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, up. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. We're going to take this chair pose, bring those hands back to heart center. Look to the right and twist. Once you find your prayer twist, maybe opening your arms and flying. So this is just to help facilitate a deeper twist here, right? So working to lift that heart up towards the ceiling. You can stay here, or you're at home, nobody's gonna watch you fall. Play around. Bring your hands to the mat. Side crow. So the key to side crow, drop your hips down until they're like on your heels. You wanna pin your right elbow into your right hip. You want your left elbow on your right knee. And then you're just spreading your fingers wide, and you're trusting yourself to shift the weight onto your hands. And then from there you play around if you want. You can scissor your legs, you can take it back to plank. You can bring your face down onto the mat to see if you can get your toes up. Lots of different ways to get you there. We're gonna come back to chair pose. Beautiful sweaty smile towards the front of the room. Take another inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine, feeling the crown of your head away from your sit bones, and then twist to the left. Maybe opening your arms and flying. Facilitate a little deeper twist with that heart. Beautiful half bind, and then if you want, play around. Bring your hands all the way to the mat. Sit your hips down to your heels, and then all you're doing is making a shelf. This is more about you trusting yourself than it is about upper body strength, I promise. Playing around if you did so on the other side. And then coming back to your chair pose. Finding a little more depth in your chair pose. You guys know I love me some chair. Take an inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands high plank. From your high plank, bring your big toes together. Side plank, right hand is your base. And again, you can modify, drop that knee down if you want. Wide open, you're gonna plant your left foot behind you. Drive through the pad of your right foot, lift up. Coming back to your side plank. With control, high plank. And then right to the other side. Oh man, if I watch this, somebody hear how sing-songy I am. It's gonna drive me nuts. Take another breath. Maybe coming into your wild thing. Feeling the support through your feet, through your left hand, reaching up and out of the right. Coming back to side plank. With control, high plank. Moving through your vinyasa, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Again, grabbing extra push-ups if you want, or skipping it all together and just going straight to downward facing dog. Great place to catch your breath. Take a few sips of air. And then inhale, send your left leg high. Bend your knees, stack your hips, scorpion. And then just feeling that out in our bodies. It is not the intention for you to get into an asana and stick it, right? You're using your breath, finding a little more depth, inch by inch, finding a little more lifting through that left kneecap. Inhale, straighten out your legs, square out your hips, rock all the way into plank and tap your nose. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale to your left shoulder and squeeze. Inhale, left leg high. All the way to the right. Inhale, left leg high. Move in slow motion, stepping that left foot to your left thumb. Spin your right heel down. Warrior one. And then breathe. Settling in, dragging that right hip forward, keeping your right leg active. And you might need a slightly shorter stance than you landed in to get that right hip all the way forward. And then make sure you're awake in through your fingertips. I feel like my hair is doing some crazy stuff up here. Breathe in and out. We're gonna hinge forward. Find those bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, draw all of that belly up and in, and then we're gonna step up into your warrior three. Any variation with your hands. Ooh, that's what it looks like to fall out. Breathe. And then we're gonna stack your hip. Open it up, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Again, using that block, if you want to push into that block here, really actively reaching up, try to stack your shoulders, stack your hips, slow motion, bend your left knee, land in your warrior two, and then sink. Stack your shoulders right over your hips. Make sure that right hip isn't getting too elevated, so drop that right hip down. Finding your reach to your focal point, inhale, reach, flip. Reverse, taking an extra breath here to get really long, opening up through that whole left side body, and then side angle. Balancing yourself out, any variation that you found on the other side, using that block. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel your hands all the way to the mat, step back, high plank. And then we're gonna breathe in your high plank. If you get tired or want to catch your breath, you can drop your knees down. If your wrists are tired, you can be on your forearms. If you really want to fire it up, squeeze the heels of your hands towards your toes. inhale. And then lift your hips, downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look beyond your mat. As you exhale, step your heels all the way to the edges of the mat and drop your hips down into a yoga squat. So using your elbows on your knees. Close your eyes and focus on your feet here. You might even rock a little side to side. Slowing your breath down, really grow long through your spine, reach the crown of your head up and away from your tailbone. You can stay right here. You're doing good work to open your hips. Another option is legs up the wall pose. You can lay down on your back. You can find a baseboard, stick your buttons up against the baseboard, and put your legs up the wall. That is an option. Or you can play around with any inversion of your choosing. You can use the wall and come into a headstand or a handstand. At home I use my door, so you can use a door if that works. Or crow pose. Crow pose, your hands are your foundation. You're going to bring your knees up on top of your triceps, as close to your armpits as you can get. And the goal is to have your knees up on top of your triceps. Your fingertips are going to control that tilt of your weight, and then maybe your toes lift. Your toes do not have to lift to practice crow pose. If crow pose is not part of your practice, use a block or a pillow from your couch and bring it out in front of you. And then bring your forehead down onto the block or the pillow. And then once you get your feet up, you might lift your head up. So playing around with a little inversion. Yeah, dolphin pose is a great option on your forearms. Then we're done playing around. We're going to make our way back into your child's pose, extended child's pose. If child's pose is intense on your neck, you can just sit into your heels, close your eyes, and recenter yourself. So we've done some balancing on our hands. We're going to do just a little bit of balancing on our feet. And then we're going to start to slow things down a little. Make this an extended child's pose and then activate it by pushing your hands into the mat, maybe pushing your fingertips into the mat like you have a couple of tennis balls underneath the palms of your hands, bringing that stretch into your triceps. From there, if you would like, you're going to come into prayer mudra, bringing your palms together, and then bend your elbows and let your thumbs rest on the small of your neck. Just giving those triceps and shoulders a little love. And then pushing your palms down into the mat once more. We're going to curl your toes under and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. And then feeling your hands and feet rooting down, pressing into the mat, pressing into the earth, lifting your sit bones. Bend your knees beyond your mat, and then we're going to step or lightly float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, deep forward fold. Pausing in this forward fold, maybe finding a shoulder rinse if you would like. If you're feeling pretty wobbly, you can toe heel those feet hip-width distance apart. And then keep a gentle bend in your elbows so you're not hyperextending. Releasing any bind you might have, we're going to slowly soften those knees and spinal roll all the way up to standing Savasana, palms face forward. Okay, so the keys to balancing are that core engagement, also finding a drishti, a focal point, something that is not moving. We're going to inhale, circle sweep your arms overhead. Hold on to an imaginary object between your palms, bring the weight into your left foot, and bring your right thigh up, parallel with the mat, flexing your toes up towards your face. Push your left big toe firmly into the mat. And then challenge yourself not to lean back by keeping that core tight. We're going to, as you exhale, we're going to kick that right heel straight towards the front of the room. Try to lift your toe up. We're going to inhale, stand up, knee up. Bring your left hand to your hip, bring your right hand to your knee. So Erin, you're going to keep your hand on your knee. She's going to show you one variation. Your other option is to reach down and grab for your big toe. If you have your big toe option, to extend it through. Whether you have your toe or your knee, you're going to open that leg out to the side, and then maybe bring your left arm out. You can let your palm face up. If you're feeling really steady, you might bring your gaze into that left palm. We're going to come back to center. Bring both hands to your hips, stand up, knee up. bring your left hand and hold onto your knee, or you might reach down and grab for the outside edge of your foot. And for this guy, it helps if you do everything all at once, kind of open it up. And if your balance is pretty solid, you might bring your gaze towards your right thumb. We're going to come back, inhale, stand up, knee up, bring both hands to your hips. Once you find your balance, extend your arms overhead, squeeze that imaginary object between your hands, and we're going to take it into your warrior three. And then moving like you're not dying to get out of warrior three, we're coming into your standing split. Moving like you love warrior three, you could be there forever, right? From your standing split, there are lots of options. You can play around with keeping your hands on the mat. You can really focus on the stretch. You can challenge your balance by bringing one or both hands behind your calf. Maybe pulling your forehead to your shin. Handstand hops or handstand are also great options here. Taking another breath. And we're going to meet in a forward fold. So step your right foot down to meet the left, separate your feet hip width distance apart, and maybe finding that gorilla here, tucking your hands underneath your feet rather, and pulling yourself down. Reminding yourself to keep the weight in your toes so your heels feel light. This allows your hips to stack over your ankles. And then liberating your hands. If you like, you can bring those big toes back together, soften your knees, and spine will roll all the way up to standing Savasana. Finding your drishti, your focal point. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms overhead. Grabbing that imaginary object between your hands, tucking your hips underneath you. Bring your left thigh up parallel with the mat. Fire up your Ujjayi breath. Challenge yourself not to lean back. Breathe in. As you exhale, kick it straight through, lifting your toes up. Keep breathing. Stand up, knee up. Bring your right hand to your hip. Left hand comes to your knee. Or maybe you reach down and grab your big toe with your peace fingers. If you have your toe, you're going to kick it straight through. And whether you have your toe or your knee, you're going to open it up to the side. And then breathe. And again, if your balance is steadier than mine, you're going to bring your gaze into your right palm. Bringing your right hand back to your hip, come back through center, stand up, knee up. And then bringing your right hand to your knee, or maybe reaching down and grabbing the outside edge of your foot. Grow tall. When you're ready, kick it through. And come back to center. Hands on your hips, stand up, knee up. Find your balance, push that right big toe down. Reach your arms up, grab that imaginary object. Take an inhale. As you exhale, warrior three, bringing your drishti down to the mat. Trying to get that left heel hip height. Take another breath. And then like it ain't no thing, standing split. Breathe, and then balance yourself out. Take another breath. And then exhale into a forward fold. So find any forward fold here. If you like, you can interlace your hands behind your head, creating a little more traction through your spine. You might grab behind your calves, grabbing opposite elbows for a little more lengthening through those hamstrings. And then bring those big toes back together. Just for fun, Utkatasana chair pose. Yay, we love Utkatasana. Breathing in your chair pose. We're going to take it a little bit lower. A little bit lower now. Navasana bow pose. Bringing your shins up parallel with the mat. Lift your heart. So you can stay here. If you want to support your boat, your hands can come behind your thighs. Your other option is to bring your hands onto the mat. We're going to take this high boat and with control coming into your low boat. Try to keep those shoulder blades lifted. Keep your chin up off your chest. Try to make it look like you're having fun. We're going to come back up to your high boat. Squeeze your knees in. Low boat. High boat. Squeeze. Just one more. You've got this. Low boat. Hover, hover, hover. Come back up. Squeeze. Drop your feet and hug your knees. You can roll your shoulders out a little. Now we're going to grab behind your thighs. We're going to roll down onto our backs. And turn to the side too. So we're going to do our figure 4 on the mats today. Is this a good angle? Can you see? Let me make sure. Okay, so for your figure 4, you're going to bring your right foot and bring your right foot up on top of your left thigh. And then use your right hand gently to push your right knee towards the front mirror. So I'm going to hang out here. This is a great place to hang out. If you want a little bit more, you can always interlace your hands behind your left thigh. So that's your threading the needle. You can also interlace your hands on top of your shin if grabbing the back of your thigh does not give you enough compression there. And then all you're doing is you're breathing and you're feeling the support of your mat. You're feeling the warmth in your body. For the last few breaths, if you want, you can straighten out that left leg and grab onto your big toe and bring a little bit of a stretch into your figure 4. But make sure that if all of your weight is trying to rock onto the right side, which is want to do, you're going to push your left hip down and then try to pin your sit bones down into the mat. If you have your left big toe, you're going to go ahead and release it, bringing your left foot to the mat. And we're going to let the sole of your right foot fall all the way over. You can switch out your hands here. Bring your left hand to your right knee. Bring your right arm either out to a T or overhead in a star position. Let your chin fall over towards the right shoulder. And we're going to gently push your knee away from you just to create an additional little stretch in through your abdominals. Let your bottom leg be heavy. So no way, sometimes we hold on to the muscles subconsciously there. So just let that leg be just completely heavy. And then release your right knee down to the mat and let this get really passive. You can bring your other arm out to a T. And then just melt. We're going to come back to center, planting both feet on the mat. And then we're going to do figure 4 on the other side. Bring your left heel on top of your right thigh. Gently ease your left knee towards the front mirror. So from now until you are released into your final Savasana, this is a great opportunity to really focus on your breath. The rest of your day, unless you hang out with weird people, they're not going to remind you to breathe with intention. So make these your best inhales and exhales. If you want to thread the needle, thread the needle. And then option if you would like for those last few breaths to straighten out your right leg and maybe add a little bit of a stretch. Make sure you're pinning your right sit bone down and your tailbone. And then releasing your right foot back down to the mat. We're going to allow that left foot to fall down. Switching out your hands, gently easing your knee towards the front mirror. Let your chin fall over to the left. Twist and breathe. Allow that bottom leg to get heavy. Feeling that stretch through your left side body. And then for the last few breaths, just allow that knee to fall. Let your arms come out to a T. And then just melt onto the mat. And then slowly come back to center. We're going to finish with one back bend and then your final Savasana. You get to choose what type of back bend you want. If you had an extra cup of coffee, you're feeling cooped up, you are more than welcome to go into your wheel pose. Do you practice wheel, Erin? Okay, awesome. So Erin can demo your wheel. I'm going to show you 2 variations of bridge. So for wheel, or bridge, your feet are hip distance apart. For wheel, you're going to push your hands into the mat overhead, and you're going to lift up, driving through your heels, pushing into your hands, feeling the mat support you. And you can stay in your wheel as long as you're comfortable. I always like to say, challenge yourself to stay for a breath longer than you're really comfortable to build endurance. For bridge, you're going to find your bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and then you're going to peel your spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Maybe tucking your shoulders underneath you. That doesn't feel good in every body, so if you do not like it, skip it. And you're going to keep driving through your heels. Keep lifting. You want your sternum even lifting up, so it almost feels like Ustrasana camel, but you're on your back. If you want a more supported bridge, then you can bring your hands underneath your hips and just let your hip bones fall into your hands, and it'll support your bridge. So staying for a breath or two longer again than you love, and then coming down, untucking your shoulders, and finding Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet come together, knees butterfly wide. And your hands are where it makes sense for your body. If you want a little traction for your spine, it might feel good to kind of push gently into your thighs. If that does not feel good, that is your body telling you it doesn't like it. Other options, you can have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or you can have your arms out to a T. But take a few deep breaths here. If it feels safe, if it feels good, close your eyes and just enjoy the tapas that you built through your practice. And then use your hands on your knees to draw your knees back together. We're going to come into a comfortable seated position. Before I release you, I wanted to do one pranayama, one little breath exercise with you guys. This is a good one for, and you can face the camera if you want, so you're all lonesome facing away. I'll come sit next to you. So we're going to do seated separate nostril breathing. This is a very grounding pranayama exercise. It is great for times of anxiety or stress. So if you are feeling any of that stuff, this is a great way for you to conclude your practice. It's also a good way for you to start your day, if you're able to start your day with just even 3 minutes of meditation and a little pranayama. So for this particular one, if you want, I think Erin's sitting into her block, you can tilt your hips forward by bringing a block underneath your hips. You're going to take your right hand and your right thumb and your right ring finger. We're going to take your right thumb and we're going to push your right nostril closed. I am nasal enough already, so I'm not going to push my nostril closed, but envision that I'm pushing my nostril closed. And then you're going to breathe in through your left nostril. So take a nice slow inhale through your left nostril. And then you're going to switch out your fingers. You're going to bring your right ring finger, push into your left nostril, and you're going to exhale completely through your right nostril. Keep your hand right there. We're going to inhale through the right. Switch out your fingers, push that right nostril closed, and then breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left. Switch, and then breathe out through the right. You can follow me. We're going to do a few more breaths here on our own. And then just allow your hands to rest on your knees. You can allow your eyes to stay closed. Allow your breath to find its normal pattern of breathing in and out. As long as you exhale, your body will know to inhale. I encourage you now to find a few minutes to yourself for a final Savasana. Take up as much space as you like. If you want to pull a blanket up over you to be warm, go for it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and moving your body and still maintaining your relationship with our community. Even though you aren't in this room with us, we are here with you and here for you. The light in the teacher in me sees, honors, and bows down to the light in the teacher in each and every one of you. I invite you to draw your thumbs to your third eye in the center of your forehead, and should you choose, you may bow to seal your practice. Namaste.